There ain't no room over here, there's food in the way. Hey guys, I was just going to let you know, starting to die down, and a lot of people ask for this. It's story time at JW Sports and Apparel, and we've got a lot of cool stories. They've been sitting here telling stories. Y'all missed out. If y'all didn't make this signing, there was some really good stories. But Joe Riggs Jr. have one that I said, you got to be the first guys. We got to have this story. So I'm going to go ahead and let Gerald do his job.
So when I was getting recruited out of high school, it came down to pretty much Tennessee and LSU. And Saban was the coach there at the time. And I ended, of course, making my decision to go to Tennessee. And later that year, we were at an award show, and he was the keynote speaker. And I was there getting an award. And when we were in the green room, he comes in, my parents see him, and they say, hey, Nick, you know, how you doing and stuff. And he greets them, and then I go up to try to greet him. He was like, man, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, what, man? He's like, what? He's like, why are you going to Tennessee? He's like, I'm not going anywhere. And I was like, well, how'd you know I wasn't going? Because I thought, you know, he was going to leave possibly. So fast forward, you know, a few years later, after I'm getting ready to get out of school, you know, last year at Tennessee, and on the last day of the draft, I get a phone call, and it was Nick when he was with the Dolphins, and he was like, I'm getting your ass this time. So you know, we thought that was pretty funny that a couple, you know, even after those years later, he remembered that when they picked me and everything. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. Another one. Do you have any in Tennessee this week?
Oh man, got so many stories from Tennessee. I'm trying to think ones that we could actually tell.
You can tell any of them you want, sir.
No, so you know, everybody always asks me about, you know, the LSU game where we played them on Monday night after Katrina, and you know, just trying to talk about how that whole game went down and, you know, everything that went on. So I remember in the overtime period, you know, usually Randy Sanders, who's our OC at the time, he doesn't really talk too much to, you know what I mean, other than, you know, what's going on or whatever. So we're standing there. LSU had just kicked a field goal, and so it was our turn to have the ball in overtime. And he turns over and looks at me. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, you know, didn't think he was talking to me at first. And he was like, "Riggs." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. What's up, man?" He was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. What the hell are you asking me for?" He was like, "Okay, good, because you're gonna get the ball every damn time until we score." So I was like, "Nah, shit." But the truth was, I was exhausted. Right? It was just, it was exhausting, because like just the whole week, how everything we had to go. We had, you know, of course, we were supposed to play on Saturday. The game got canceled, then pushed back to Sunday, then pushed back to Monday. Then we had to travel the same day of the game. It was hot. It was humid. Of course, everything you would think of it in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I remember just being, you know, of course, lying to him, telling him I wasn't tired, but I was exhausted. It was one of those, like, I don't know how I was able to muster it up, but I was like, well, you gotta do it, because you're probably not gonna get the ball again if you don't.
Alrighty, that was a good one. You ready, big dog?
Yeah, I'm ready. So a lot of folks, you wouldn't realize that when I was at UT, I was a jerk. I was known as, and G. Riggs can vouch, I was known as the team butthole. Just because I came out of Battleground Academy as the #2 all-time leading rusher ever in high school football history. So got to UT.
That's awesome.
I came in with I got there, Jamal Lewis, Travis Henry Stevens was there, and Ontario Smith and I came in the 99 class. So fast forward, 01, they bring in 4 more running backs. We talked about it, Jabari, Cedric, Keldrick, and Derek Tinsley. Then Gerald came in 02. So I'm thinking, like, I got all these dudes up in there, and they still ain't going to give me the ball. So I was a jerk, but I was a team player also. So I bit the bullet, played fullback. And so my junior year and senior year, we played in the Peach Bowl down in Atlanta. We lost to Maryland my junior year. And it was halftime, and so this is when they had the old Sprint flip phones. And so I went in there, and I had 16 missed calls from my sister. So she was pregnant with my niece, who is now, my niece would be 20, 19 now. Wow. And at the time, there's a guy named Mike Griffith who covers Georgia Bulldogs now.
Yeah, I know Mike.
Mike covered UT, and I have no hard feelings for Mike anymore. But for the longest, I couldn't stand Mike, because Mike put the story out there that I was a team, I don't know if I'm going to use it, where I was a team, you know, miscreant. I was a troublemaker, rebel rouser. But then fast forward, we lose the game. We get blown out by Maryland. I think it was 35-3. So I get back to Knoxville. Coach Foreman, Coach McCorvey, Woody McCorvey, who's my position coach, called me in for a meeting. And I'm sitting there thinking, and they were like, it was like, man, you've been a sore all year. You've been going back and forth. You know, you and I have had our issues. And then I still have the utmost respect for both of them. But Coach Foreman and I had a contentious relationship. Now he's a great friend. I talk to him all the time, love him to death. But me and Woody McCorvey were always cool. And Woody was straight up honest with me. He said, I told you guys when you recruited him, he wasn't going to switch to fullback. And obviously I went to a private school, Battleground Academy in Franklin. They didn't have a lot of success with Middle Tennessee kids. So fast forward, we're having a conversation. You know, we're talking about this. And I said, guys, I'm a team player. We cleared the air. And they said, the last thing they go, so what is this you were using your cell phone at halftime? I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, it was reported that you were on your phone at halftime making phone calls. I said, no, here's the real truth. And I told him, I had 16 calls. My sister was pregnant. And I was checking on my niece. So I stepped outside the Georgia Dome, and then you can't get any reception in the Georgia Dome. So Mike Griffith sees me on my phone. So I know it was him to put the story out there. So fast forward, my senior year, we're doing senior tackle. Coach Foreman talks about how I made such a huge transformation. So we get to the Peach Bowl, and Chris Lowe reminded me of this quote. And I was talking to Chris a couple of months ago. One of the reporters was talking about Coach Foreman sung your praise. You've been such a turnaround. You know what led to you having a turnaround and wanting to be a team leader and everything. And Chris Lowe said, I looked at the guy and told him, well, I got a new cell phone plan. That's why. and that was my dig at Mike. I have no hard feelings against you, Mike Griffith, nowadays.
Mike has a tendency. He's rubbed Kirby the wrong way.
And he was at Michigan State as well, too. And he rubbed people the wrong way. But that's my story because I want to set the record straight for people that didn't know. I wasn't making phone calls to Domino's Pizza to come rescue us at that time. I was calling to check on my niece. NFL story. Biggest story was, a lot of folks don't know that, in locker rooms in the NFL, that's where like all the fun is. So the funny story for me, it's really not a story, is that, Steve McNair was somebody I idolized growing up, as a kid when he was at Alcorn
One of the
State.
greats.
One of the greats. And, a lot of guys, when we first come in, it was me, Jared Payton, and Ronald McClendon, who we called Goldie from Ole Miss. So we went in and we met Chris Brown, who was just there from Colorado. And we're all sitting there and we're just talking. And we're nervous rookies. And, I was fortunate enough to be drafted in the 6th round. And they were signed as free agents. But we all became friends and still friends to this day. And we were just sitting there and they was like, man, down in the corner, Mac 9, man, he worth all the money. He says, what happens if y'all get in there and y'all miss a block and he get hurt? I said, hey, somebody gonna get cut. So, long story, a lot of the veterans went talk to rookies. But I think the proudest thing for me is obviously I ended up making the team as a 6th round draft pick. And I'd see Steve every morning. So when you come in the door, Steve's locker was right there with Steve and then Billy Volek by locker room. And so the biggest thing is about the NFL, what I love the most, Steve nicknamed me Big Swole because at UT, and Gerald know, at the time Coach Stuck in our weight roll program was ran by Johnny Long, one of the best. And, we came in, I came in benching as a rookie in the NFL, 485, squatting 665, and going in there and being stronger than the majority of people on the team. And so Steve would walk by and he's like, hey, man, you're in the NFL now. He said, you ain't got to be all that strong around. He said, you just got to be able to run. He said, so he nicknamed me Big Swole.
Big Swole.
So that was one of my funniest moments with him because everywhere I went, he come in and said, hey, Big Swole. He's like, leave some of them weights alone and get out there on the field.
Oh, that's a good one.
Guys, if y'all missed this signing, these guys have been sitting here telling stories. I just told them, pick a few good stories, and these are really good. We got one more. Brian Ingram.
I can just tell you a short story about how I got to Tennessee. It had came down to Notre Dame in Tennessee, and I wanted to go to Notre Dame. And my dad, he's like a truck driver. Huge guy. Kind of look like Willie B. Willie B is gorilla.
Yeah.
So he got home. He got home from his off the road. He said, "Where you going, Brian?" I said, "I'm going to Notre Dame." And he looked at me and said, "You know, doggone Catholic." And he said, in other words, he said, "You ain't no damn Catholic." and he heard Johnny Major is coming down to Tennessee. And he said, "That's where you going to Tennessee." And I just looked at him. I told Mom, I thought I was going to Notre Dame. She said, You heard your daddy. You ain't no damn Catholic. And that's how I got to Tennessee.
NFL, you got any stories in NFL?
I tell you one story. His father was with the Falcons when I was with the New England Patriots.
Oh, wow.
Me and Andre Tippett saw him in Atlanta. we were supposed to play the Falcons that year, and so we walked up on him and said, "What's up, Gerald?" And Tippett said something like, "We like big running backs." And Gerald said, "Yeah, I like big linebackers." I like big linebackers. I like running over big linebackers. Me and Tip just looked at each other. This guy was huge, so we didn't say nothing back to him.
Yeah, Gerald his dad was one of the greats of the game, and but like I said, guys, if y'all missed this signing, y'all missed a lot of stories. They could sit here all day and tell the funny stories. There was just so many that y'all missed out if y'all didn't make the signing, because I was just sitting here amazed at everything that they kept talking about. But if you missed it, it's on y'all. But here's the deal about technology. We're going to put this on YouTube, so y'all can go and actually it's on Facebook right now live. So you can watch this, but we're actually going to put it on YouTube. So story time, people asked for it. I think it was a hit, and I'm just proud of you guys for allowing y'all to come to this little small town in Chatsworth. And hopefully we'll keep doing business with you guys and being a part of JNW Sports. Because at JNW Sports, we're not just a business, we're family. And there's a lot of family on here watching. Otis Nixon, Quincy Carter probably pop in there at any time.
John Clayton said you're still not in a Tennessee shirt.
We'll figure something out on that. We'll wait. We gotta do what we gotta do here. But anyway, guys, we appreciate all the people that's been a part of JNW Sports and Apparel. And these guys here, we thank them for coming out and just being a part of this family. Because even though they play for another team, they're still family. They came in here, they gave us a little bit of their time. And so we want to make sure that they are treated like family. So if they leave here, they always are welcome to do this again if they'd love to. It's really up to them. Thank you guys. And they're here until 4 o'clock, and it's 3:11, so y'all need to get in your cars and get on over here right now. I don't care if you wreck, just as long as you get here and spend some time with these guys, because it's been fun. Gerald's telling stories. Just the whole group sitting here just back and forth. It's like they're in the locker room. You're missing out on this if you don't come down here and get an autograph with these guys. Well, thank you. We appreciate everything. And go Vols.
There you go. Go Vols. Yeah. Ball for life.